You've probably heard 1,000 times that husbands need to love their wives, but here's what nobody's talking about: what wives actually owe their husbands. And no, it's not submission in the way culture has twisted that word into something oppressive and demeaning. It's something far more powerful, something that can literally transform a mediocre marriage into something extraordinary, or take a struggling marriage and restore it to what God intended. The secret? Respect. The genuine and biblical respect that touches every area of your relationship. Most marriage advice focuses on what husbands need to do differently, and sure, they've got their own list of responsibilities. But when a wife understands how to show respect to her husband in practical daily ways, she unlocks something in him and in the marriage covenant itself that changes everything. These aren't theories or nice-sounding ideas. These are 10 specific, actionable ways that Scripture and real life both confirm will revolutionize how your husband experiences your marriage. If this content is speaking to your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's dive in. Number 1. Listen with your ears, not your mouth. Women have the power to influence men only using words. They can build a man up or destroy him at the same time. Haven't you ever interrupted your husband while he was talking and started to say something about the children, or even about yourself, and stopped him from completing his story? Maybe he was sharing something about his day at work, and halfway through, you jumped in with a comment about the grocery list or what the kids did at school. It seems harmless, right? But here's the thing. Real strength isn't found in who talks the loudest. The covenant of marriage thrives when both partners understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is close your mouth and open your ears. 1 Peter 3, verse 1 tells wives to be submissive to their own husbands, that even if some don't obey the word, they, without a word, may be won by the conduct of their wives. Read that again. Without a word. A wife can win her husband with her conduct without condemning him. Think about the influence women have wielded throughout Scripture. Eve influenced Adam to sin with her words, and that changed the entire course of human history. But then there's Abigail, who influenced David away from committing murder with her respectful, wise words. She didn't lecture him. Instead, she emphasized his calling, his destiny, his integrity. She didn't focus on how stupid and wrong David was. She kept him from sin by speaking life, not death. That's the kind of power every wife holds in her hands, or rather, on her tongue. When a wife learns to listen without cutting her husband off, without correcting every detail he gets wrong, without turning his story into her own talking point, she's actually creating space for him to process, to be vulnerable, to feel respected. And respect for a man is like oxygen. He can't thrive in the marriage without it. Haven't you noticed how your husband sometimes just stops talking mid-sentence when he feels you're not really listening? Or how he shares less and less over time because he knows he'll be interrupted or corrected? This doesn't mean a wife becomes a doormat or pretends to agree with everything. It means she values his perspective enough to let him express it fully before she responds. It's about honoring the covenant they made before God, recognizing that her words and her willingness to withhold them at the right moment can either restore connection or create distance. Number 2, acknowledge his accomplishments out loud. Men are drawn to work in a way that's almost hardwired into their being. God created man from the dust of the ground and then gave him the task of cultivating and keeping the garden. Work isn't just something men do. For many of them, it's tied deeply to their sense of purpose and identity. Haven't you noticed how your husband lights up when he talks about a project he completed, or how defeated he looks when something he's worked hard on doesn't pan out? There's this pull in men to provide, to build something with their hands, to accomplish tasks and see tangible results. Now, They have to be careful not to make work into an idol and neglect their families in the process. But a wife who understands this about her husband holds a key that can unlock incredible confidence in him. When she affirms him verbally for his work, she's speaking directly to a core part of who he is as a man. Here's what's powerful about a wife's affirmation. It carries weight that nobody else's words can match. Your husband might receive compliments from his boss, recognition from colleagues, praise from clients or customers, but those affirmations are like cotton candy, sweet for a moment, but they dissolve quickly and leave nothing substantial behind. Haven't you seen how he brushes off compliments from others? How he downplays his achievements when someone else mentions them? But when you, the woman who knows him better than anyone, the one who sees him at his best and his worst, when you tell him you're proud of how hard he's working or impressed by what he's accomplished, that sinks in deep. It's not cotton candy anymore. It's nourishment that actually builds him up from the inside. When you say, "I see how much effort you're putting into this," or "You handled that situation really well," you're not just being nice. You're restoring his sense of value in an area that matters tremendously to him. The absence of verbal affirmation creates a void, and voids don't stay empty for long. When a wife never acknowledges her husband's work, never comments on his contributions, never expresses appreciation for how he provides or problem solves or tackles challenges, he starts to wonder if anything he does actually matters to her. He might start seeking that affirmation elsewhere, working longer hours to get recognition from his boss, fishing for compliments from co-workers, or just shutting down emotionally, because why try to impress someone who never seems impressed? But when a wife makes it a habit to verbally affirm her husband's work, not in a patronizing way, but genuinely acknowledging his efforts and accomplishments, she's strengthening the covenant between them. She's telling him, "I see you, I value what you do, and I respect the way you show up." That kind of affirmation doesn't just make him feel good. It actually motivates him to keep going, to tackle the next challenge, to be the man she believes he can be. Number 3, support his dreams and ambitions. Genesis tells us that God created a wife to be a helpmate for her husband, and in today's culture, that word makes people shake their heads. The idea that a woman would be designed to help her husband feels like an insult to so many people who've drunk the cultural narrative that says independence is everything and partnership means weakness. Men and women are equal in value and worth, but a wife has this unique power to come alongside her husband and support his dreams and ambitions in life in a way that literally multiplies what he's capable of achieving. Haven't you ever wondered why some men seem to soar in life while others plateau, even when they have similar talents and opportunities? Often, the difference is what's happening at home, whether there's a wife who believes in his vision or one who constantly throws water on every spark of ambition. A woman who understands her power knows that she can take a man with potential and help him develop it into something extraordinary. A wife who knows how to support her husband's goals and aspirations isn't being subservient. She's being strategic. She's investing in the future they're building together. When your husband mentions a dream he has, do you immediately list all the reasons it won't work? Or do you ask questions that help him think it through? When he wants to pursue a new skill, or start a business, or make a career change, are you his biggest cheerleader or his most vocal critic? Haven't you shot down his ideas before they even had a chance to breathe, pointing out every obstacle and risk without acknowledging the possibility that it might actually work? Or maybe you've compared his aspirations to what other men are doing, making him feel like his dreams are somehow inadequate or unrealistic. That kind of response doesn't protect the marriage covenant. It slowly erodes his willingness to share his heart with you. Supporting his goals doesn't mean you blindly agree with every idea he has or ignore legitimate concerns about finances, timing, or family impact. It means you're his partner in evaluating those goals, not his opponent. It means when he's doubting himself, you remind him of what he's capable of. When he faces setbacks, you help him see the lessons instead of saying, "I told you so." When he succeeds, you celebrate with him genuinely, not with resentment that his achievement somehow diminishes you. The covenant of marriage is strengthened when both people are committed to helping each other become the best versions of themselves. A wife who supports her husband's aspirations is actually investing in the restoration of his confidence, his purpose, his drive to keep pushing forward even when things get difficult. And here's the beautiful part. When you build him up this way, it creates a dynamic where he wants to do the same for you. Number 4. Avoid mocking or shaming him. Have you ever rolled your eyes when your husband was explaining something, or let out that little sigh that communicates you think what he's saying is ridiculous? Maybe you've made a cutting remark disguised as humor, something that got a laugh from your girlfriends but left a sting he'll remember long after the conversation ended. These moments might feel insignificant to you, almost reflexive, but to him they're little deaths of respect, and the covenant of marriage can't survive on a diet of contempt. Proverbs 12, verse 4, says that an excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones. A crown or rottenness. There's no middle ground here. Think about that imagery for a second. A crown sits on top, visible to everyone, a symbol of honor and dignity. Rottenness in the bones. That's hidden decay, eating away at the very structure that holds a person upright, destroying them from within where nobody else can witness the deterioration. When a wife constantly points out her husband's flaws in social settings, mocks his ideas at the dinner table, or uses that condescending tone that makes him feel like a child being scolded, she's doing more damage than she realizes. Haven't you seen how some men just go quiet around their wives, like they've learned that speaking up only invites ridicule? Or how certain husbands make themselves scarce, always finding excuses to work late or hang out elsewhere, because home has become a place where they feel diminished rather than valued. Sarcasm might be your native language when you're frustrated, but it translates to disrespect in his heart. That joke about how he can't fix anything around the house, that comment about how he's gaining weight, that eye roll when he shares an opinion, these aren't harmless. They're building a wall between you brick by brick, and eventually that wall gets so high neither of you can see over it to remember why you fell in love in the first place. Here's the beautiful truth, though. The same wife who has the power to make her husband feel like a failure also has the power to make him feel like a king. When you catch yourself about to say something cutting, pause and ask, will this restore our connection or damage it? When he makes a mistake, you can address it without attacking his character. When he falls short, you can acknowledge it without making him feel worthless. The goal isn't to pretend everything's perfect or to suppress legitimate concerns. It's to speak truth wrapped in respect instead of wrapped in mockery. A wife who guards her tongue from belittling words is protecting something sacred, and that protection creates an environment where both people can flourish. Number 5, remain attractive. Men process attraction differently than women do, and pretending that's not true doesn't help anyone build a stronger marriage. Visual connection matters to men in a way that goes beyond shallow preferences. It's woven into how they experience desire and connection. Now, before anyone misunderstands, this absolutely does not mean a wife is responsible for her husband's faithfulness or that his wandering eyes are her fault if she's not perfect enough. That's nonsense and completely unbiblical. But what is true is that when a wife intentionally takes care of her appearance, she's communicating something powerful about the value she places on their marriage covenant and showing respect to her husband in a tangible way. Haven't you noticed the difference in how you felt about yourself when you used to get ready for a date versus how you feel now when you haven't showered in 2 days and you're wearing clothes with mystery stains on them. There's nothing wrong with comfort, but there's also something to be said for effort. Life gets chaotic, bodies shift after having babies, aging changes things, exhaustion from managing a household and possibly working outside the home makes getting ready feel like just one more impossible task on an endless list. Nobody's expecting perfection here, and frankly, the cultural obsession with looking flawless is exhausting and unrealistic for everyone. But there's a middle ground between Instagram perfect and completely letting yourself go. When was the last time you put on something that made you feel attractive, not for a special occasion or because company was coming over, but just because you wanted your husband to look at you and feel that spark? When did you last care about your appearance for him the way you cared about it when you were trying to win his heart in the first place? If you're honest, you might realize that somewhere along the way, you started prioritizing everyone else's perception of you over his. You'll make sure you look decent for the school pickup or the work meeting, but at home with him, you've stopped trying. That shift, subtle as it may seem, communicates that he's lower on the priority list than strangers and acquaintances. Taking care of your appearance isn't about conforming to some impossible standard or becoming someone you're not. It's about honoring yourself, honoring your husband, and showing respect for the covenant you made together. When you make an effort, even a small one, you're saying, "I still care about being desirable to you." You're acknowledging that physical attraction, while not the foundation of marriage, is still a component that matters. You're also respecting the fact that he chose you and continuing to show up as someone who values how she presents herself reinforces that he made a good choice. This doesn't require a complete makeover or spending money you don't have. It might mean putting on real clothes instead of pajamas before he gets home, running a brush through your hair, or wearing something that makes you feel confident. The goal is to restore the intentionality that was present when your relationship was new, to show through your actions that he's still worth the effort. Number 6, make physical intimacy a priority. Sexual intimacy in marriage isn't just a bonus feature or something that happens when everything else in life is perfectly aligned. It's actually a foundational element that holds the covenant together in a unique way. Genesis 2, verse 24 says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." That's not poetic language meant to sound nice. It's describing something that literally happens through sexual intimacy, a unity that occurs in this act that can't be replicated any other way. An emotional and spiritual bonding that reinforces the commitment you made to each other. Haven't you noticed how after genuine intimacy with your husband, there's a closeness that wasn't there before, a vulnerability that's been shared, a connection that goes beyond words? For a husband, that physical connection often serves as the primary pathway to emotional closeness, and when that pathway gets blocked repeatedly, he starts to feel isolated even while sleeping in the same bed as you. Now, here's where this gets real and potentially uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. For many wives, sex can feel like just another demand on an already overwhelming schedule, something that requires energy they're running low on at the end of long days. And listen, there are seasons where physical intimacy is genuinely challenging. Recovery from childbirth, health issues, times of intense stress. Nobody's suggesting you ignore real physical or emotional limitations, but there's a pattern that develops in many marriages where sex becomes the thing that only happens when the wife feels like it, when all the stars align, when she's had enough sleep, and the kids have been good, and the house is clean, and she's not upset about something from 3 days ago, when intimacy consistently gets pushed to the bottom of the priority list, when a wife treats her husband's desire for her as an inconvenience rather than an opportunity for connection, something breaks down in him. He doesn't just feel rejected sexually, He feels rejected as a person, humiliated, like he's begging for scraps of affection from someone who finds him burdensome. Here's what prioritizing sex actually looks like. It means sometimes saying yes, even when you're tired, because you understand that this matters to him and to the health of your marriage. It means initiating occasionally, instead of always making him wonder if tonight will be another rejection. When you make intimacy a priority, when you approach it as something that strengthens your bond rather than just meets his needs, you're communicating respect in a language he profoundly understands. Number 7, be thankful to your husband. Gratitude is one of the most underrated tools a wife has to transform her marriage, yet it's something that gets lost in the daily grind of life together. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18 says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." Notice it doesn't say give thanks only when things are perfect or only when your husband does something extraordinary. It says in everything. When was the last time you actually thanked your husband for the things he does regularly? Taking out the trash, going to work every day, fixing things around the house, playing with the kids, handling finances. These tasks become so routine that they fade into the background, and before you know it, you're only speaking up when something doesn't get done rather than acknowledging what does. Haven't you ever worked hard on something, put in real effort, only to have it go completely unnoticed by the people you did it for? It's deflating, isn't it? That's exactly how your husband feels when his contributions to the family go unrecognized week after week, month after month. Being thankful to your husband for everything he does isn't about inflating his ego. It's about showing him respect and recognition, letting him know that you see what he's doing for you and the family, that his efforts matter and don't go unnoticed. Gratitude creates a powerful dynamic in marriage because it shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's present. Instead of mentally cataloging everything your husband isn't doing or comparing him to some imaginary perfect spouse, thankfulness trains your eyes to see the good he's actually bringing to your life. Maybe he's not the most romantic guy, but he shows up for work every single day to provide for your family. Maybe he doesn't communicate perfectly, but he stays committed when things get hard. Maybe he's not great with words, but he changes the oil in your car without being asked. When you start verbalizing gratitude for these things, thank you for working so hard for us. I really appreciate you handling that. I noticed you did that without me asking, and it means a lot. You're doing something profound. You're acknowledging his value, affirming that what he does matters, and communicating that you don't take him for granted. The beautiful thing about gratitude is that it creates a cycle of mutual respect and effort in the marriage covenant. When you thank your husband for what he does, it inspires him to look for ways to serve you better, to contribute more, to step up in areas where he might have been slacking. Nobody wants to pour effort into something that goes unnoticed, but everyone wants to invest in something that's valued and appreciated. Think about it in any other context. Employees work harder for bosses who recognize their contributions. Volunteers show up more consistently for organizations that express gratitude. Children respond better to parents who notice their good behavior. Your husband is no different. When you make it a habit to express thankfulness, not just once in a while when he does something extraordinary, but regularly for the ordinary, everyday things he does, you're actually restoring a spirit of partnership and mutual appreciation in your marriage. He'll notice what you're doing, and more often than not, he'll want to do the same for you. Gratitude begets gratitude, and respect begets respect. It's one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to strengthen your covenant together. Number 8. Join him in what he enjoys doing. While many women feel most connected through deep conversation, face-to-face interaction, and verbal sharing, Most men feel connected through shared activities and doing things side by side. Men connect differently than women do, and understanding this difference can transform how you build respect in your marriage. Haven't you noticed how your husband opens up more when you're doing something together, working on a project, going for a walk, playing a game, rather than when you're sitting across from each other asking him to share his feelings? It's not that he doesn't want to connect, it's that his brain is wired to bond through activity rather than just through words. When a wife shows genuine interest in her husband's hobbies and activities, when she joins him in things he enjoys, she's speaking his love language and showing respect for what matters to him. This doesn't mean you have to fake enthusiasm for things you genuinely hate, but it does mean giving his interests a fair chance and finding ways to participate. Think about what your husband enjoys doing. Maybe it's fishing, working on cars, playing video games, watching sports, hiking, cooking, building things in the garage. When was the last time you asked him to teach you about it or invited yourself along instead of treating his hobbies as competition for your time together? A lot of wives complain that their husbands never want to talk or spend quality time together, but then when he invites her to join him in something he loves, she dismisses it as boring or a waste of time. You can't have it both ways. If you want connection with your husband, you need to meet him where he is, not just expect him to always come to your preferred method of bonding. When you show interest in his activities, even if they're not naturally your thing, you're communicating that he matters more than your comfort, that the covenant you share is worth stepping outside your preferences. Doing activities together creates shared experiences, inside jokes, memories that bond you closer over time. It also gives him an opportunity to feel competent and valued. When he's teaching you something he knows well, or sharing a passion with you, he feels respected and appreciated. You don't have to become an expert or pretend to be someone you're not, but making the effort to engage with what he enjoys opens doors for connection that sitting on the couch complaining about his lack of communication never will. Maybe you join him for a round of golf even though you're terrible at it. Or you watch the game with him and actually ask questions about what's happening. Or you spend an afternoon helping him with a project instead of scrolling your phone in another room. These small acts of interest accumulate into something bigger, a marriage where both people feel seen, valued, and connected. Number 9, be there for his family. When you married your husband, you didn't just marry him, you married into his family, and how you treat his parents and siblings says a lot about the respect you have for him. His family shaped who he is, for better or worse, and when you constantly criticize them, mock them, or create tension between him and the people who raised him, you're putting him in an impossible position. Haven't you made comments about his mother being overbearing? Or rolled your eyes when his dad tells the same stories again, or complained about having to spend time with his siblings during holidays? Maybe his family isn't perfect. Newsflash, neither is yours. But they're still his family, and attacking them is attacking a part of him. When a wife supports her husband's family, even when they're difficult or different from what she's used to, she's showing him that she respects his roots and values the people who matter to him. Supporting his family doesn't mean you become a doormat or allow toxic behavior to go unchecked. If there are legitimate boundary issues, those need to be addressed with wisdom and unity as a couple. But there's a massive difference between setting healthy boundaries and constantly bad-mouthing his relatives. When you speak respectfully about his family, when you make an effort to build relationships with them, when you encourage him to maintain those connections rather than driving wedges, you're strengthening your marriage covenant. Think about how you'd feel if he constantly criticized your parents or talked about your family with contempt. It would hurt, wouldn't it? It would make you feel torn between defending the people you love and keeping peace with your spouse. That's exactly what happens when you don't support his family. You create division where there should be unity, resentment where there should be partnership. Here's the practical application. Speak well of his family, even when they get on your nerves. Make an effort during family gatherings, instead of sitting in the corner looking miserable. Encourage him to call his parents, to maintain relationships with his siblings, to be present for family events. If his mom offers advice you don't want, smile and thank her instead of making it a confrontation. If his dad has habits that annoy you, look for his positive qualities instead of focusing on what drives you crazy. When you support his family, you're really supporting him, showing that you understand these relationships matter and that you're willing to invest in them for his sake. This kind of respect doesn't go unnoticed. It builds trust, appreciation, and a deeper bond between you. Number 10. Stop broadcasting your marital problems. There's a huge difference between seeking wise counsel and gossiping about your marriage problems to anyone who will listen. Every marriage needs mentors, trusted advisors, maybe a counselor or pastor, who can provide biblical guidance during difficult seasons. That's healthy, that's wise, and Scripture actually encourages us to seek counsel from people who are further along in their journey. But what isn't healthy is when a wife constantly airs her husband's failures, weaknesses, and private struggles to her girlfriends over coffee, on social media through vague posts, or to family members who have no ability to actually help restore the marriage. Haven't you vented to your friends about something your husband did, shared intimate details about your arguments, or painted him in a negative light to people who then carry that impression of him long after you've forgiven and moved on? That's not seeking help. That's gossip disguised as needing support, and it damages the covenant you're supposed to be protecting. When you gossip about your marriage struggles, you're doing several destructive things at once. First, you're violating the trust and privacy that should exist between husband and wife. Some things are meant to stay between the two of you, not become entertainment for your group chat. Second, you're shaping how other people view your husband, often in ways that aren't fair or accurate, because they're only hearing your side during your most frustrated moments. Third, you're potentially getting advice from people who don't have healthy marriages themselves, who might encourage you toward resentment or even separation rather than reconciliation. And fourth, you're humiliating your husband, making him feel exposed and disrespected, because eventually he's going to find out that people know things about your private life that he never consented to share. Word gets around, even when you think it won't, and the embarrassment and betrayal he feels when he discovers you've been talking about him behind his back can create a wound that's hard to heal. Here's what appropriate help-seeking looks like. You identify one or two mature, trustworthy people who have strong marriages and biblical wisdom, maybe a mentor couple, a counselor, or a pastor. You share what's necessary for them to understand the situation and provide godly guidance, but you don't share every detail or paint your husband as a villain. You seek their advice with the goal of restoration, not validation for why you're right to be angry. You don't broadcast your issues to multiple people or use your marriage struggles as a conversation starter. And critically, once an issue is resolved between you and your husband, you let it stay resolved. You don't keep bringing it up to others or holding it over his head. When you guard your marriage by refusing to gossip about it, you're showing profound respect for your husband and for the covenant you share. So there you have it. 10 practical biblical ways a wife can show respect to her husband and transform the atmosphere of her marriage. Listen with your ears, not your mouth. Acknowledge his accomplishments out loud. Support his dreams and ambitions. Avoid mocking or shaming him. Remain attractive. Make physical intimacy a priority. Be thankful to your husband. Join him in what he enjoys doing. Be there for his family and stop broadcasting your marital problems. These aren't just good suggestions. They're pathways to restoring the covenant you made before God, to strengthening the bond between you and your husband, to creating the kind of marriage that actually reflects Christ and the church. But here's the real question. What are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to close this out, nod your head, and go back to the same patterns that have been slowly eroding your marriage? Or are you going to actually apply what you've learned, starting today, starting with one small change that communicates respect to your husband in a way he'll notice? Pick one thing from this list and commit to doing it consistently for the next 30 days. Watch what happens. Pay attention to how your husband responds, how the atmosphere in your home shifts, how your own heart changes when you start honoring him the way Scripture calls you to. And if you want to keep growing in this area, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Drop a comment below and let me know. Which of these 10 ways challenged you the most? Which one are you going to start implementing today? God bless your marriage, and I'll see you in the next one.